On March 4, 2020, the first case of SARS-CoV-19 was reported in Fort Bend County. On March 5, 2020, 6 testing sites opened around the state of Texas. On March 11, 2020, COVID-19 was declared a pandemic. President Donald Trump announced a suspension of all travel to the U.S. from Europe, excluding the United Kingdom. On March 13, 2020, Governor Abbott declared a state disaster. At this point in time, Texas has reported only 22 cases of COVID-19. On March 16, 2020, Governor Abbott waived the STAR test. On March 16, 2020, the first death reported in Texas. Hospital officials later received confirmation that this individual tested positive for COVID. On March 19, 2020, Governor Abbott issued statewide mandates. Texans were told to avoid social gatherings of more than 10 people. Gyms, restaurants, and bars were closed but could provide service through drive-through pickup or delivery options. Nursing home visitation was banned, and all schools in Texas had to temporarily close. On March 31, 2020, the social distancing order extended. Governor Abbott did not call it a stay-at-home order. He did mandate social distancing protocols through the end of April, and schools closed through May 4th. We are now beginning to see glimmers that the worst of COVID-19 may soon be behind us. On April 17, 2020, Governor Abbott announces the phases for reopening Texas. Soon after, on May 1, 2020, Phase 1 of reopening Texas began. Businesses, retail stores, restaurants, and movie theaters were allowed to reopen at 25% capacity. On May 2, 2020, 14,891 recoveries and 14,784 active cases were reported in Texas. It was the first time that the number of recoveries was higher than the number of people actively sick. At that time, we had only 847 deaths. On May 18, 2020, Phase 2 of reopening began. On June 3, 2020, Phase 3 of reopening began. On June 15, 2020, there has been an increase in the number of people testing positive. Governor Abbott said that he believed that people were letting their guard down since summer was coming up. He said they feel like they can go out without having to wear a face mask, and they're not realizing this very important fact. COVID-19 still exists in Texas, in America, and across the globe. On June 19, 2020, Texas surpassed 100,000 cases. On June 26, 2020, reopening paused. On July 2, 2020, the mask mandate imposed. Today, I am issuing a face covering requirement for counties with more than 20 COVID cases. On July 15, 2020, the TEA said schools can remain closed. On November 13, 2020, Texas surpassed 1 million confirmed cases. On December 14, 2020, the first vaccines were administered in Texas. 6 months later, on January 14th, the 1 millionth vaccine dose was administered. Governor Abbott says it is now time to open up Texas 100%. Now, as of March 30th, 2021, every adult over the age of 16 can get vaccinated in Texas. It is very important for everyone to be aware that even if you are vaccinated, it is still important to wear your mask and proceed to social distance. And that was your recap of a year of COVID.